So today we are going to talk about Expulsom and how you can use it to make gold right now on the Shadowlands Pre-Patch and in Shadowlands itself. I imagine some of you have a bunch of Expulsom stacked up, and my hope with this video is that you get some ideas of how to use it instead of having to vendor it off. And if you don't have a lot of Expulsom but you want to get some, you can easily farm a ton of green items and tiled spray linen from 2x4 farms in Drustvar or Vol'dun, where you also have the chance of obtaining a mount which you can also sell. Simply go to the pre-made group finder and look for any group named something like 2x4 farming in Vol'dun or Drustvar, or Dune Scavenger Mount Farm, and I bet there will be some groups up which you can join. So how can you use Expulsom to make gold right now? Well, first of all, you can use it to craft Uncanny gear, which might sell as people are leveling up alts in the pre-patch, and they might want to gear up quickly. That being said, I do expect us to get some pre-patch gear as well, coming in the next stage of the pre-patch, but right now Uncanny still has a decent sell rate. Embroidered deep sea bags are selling very well right now because again, people are leveling alts, and they need bag space. These bags require 65 embroidered deep sea satin, 5 Expulsom, and a hydro core to make, and they should sell well for the entirety of the pre-patch, and maybe even in Shadowlands itself, even though there will be ways of making newer bags in Shadowlands. Next up we have two different mounts, and mounts are always good to stock up on, as they are a constant gold maker regardless of expansion. The first one is the Mecca Mogul Mk2, which requires a ton of different materials, and you'll have to grind the mother load a fair bit to acquire the soul-bound materials. That being said, every single craft also requires 20 Expulsom, so you will need to stock up on some Expulsom as well. My advice here would be to stock up on the Expulsom now, and then grind out the motherload materials in Shadowlands once you're able to solo it at a higher efficiency than you can right now. The second mount is the Xiwyllag ATV, which is basically the poor man's Mimran's head. This mount is a bit unique as it requires you to combine two materials to craft the mount. One material is made through blacksmithing and the other one through engineering. The blacksmithing material, also known as monolith reinforced chassis or chassis, only requires a few different ores from BFA, so that one is easy enough to farm up. The engineering material, on the other hand, also requires different ores from BFA, but also requires 8 Expulsom to make. This means that for every Xiwyllag ATV you want to craft, you will need 8 Expulsom. If we just run some quick math here, let's say you want 20 of each mount, in that case you would need 400 Expulsom for the Mecca Mogul Mk2, and 160 Expulsom for the Xiwyllag ATV, so you would want 560 Expulsom in total to make 20 of each mount. Anyways, that's about it, just a quick heads up of one way you can make gold with Expulsom right now, and a couple of ways it can actually be useful in Shadowlands as well, and I just wanted to make a video on the topic. I figured that instead of making one big video covering multiple topics, I will just make a couple of shorter videos explaining one topic. That way you can watch what you're interested in. One quick advice is to try to divide your assets into multiple different categories of auctions when it comes to gold making. For example, farm up some transmog, farm up some battle pets, farm up some old expansion materials, and farm some current expansion materials as well. Craft some BOE gear, craft some toys, and craft some mounts. The more different, unique auctions you have up at any point, the higher the chance is of some of it actually selling, and crafting mounts like the two I mentioned in this video can be a very lucrative way to make gold in later expansions, like for example in Shadowlands or the expansion after it. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you again very soon.